Hello and welcome to Dude's Comic Roundup. I'm Jason and this is my weekly video where I take the rest of the books that didn't make my comic of the week and review them. Before we get into that though, the books that did make my comic of the week, if you want to see these books being reviewed, they're in my comics of the week. So you've got Justice League 3000 issue number 4, we've got Captain Marvel issue number 1, we have Superman Wonder Woman issue number 6, we have Batman issue number 29, and the Superior Spider-Man issue number 29. So yeah, if you want to check out reviews for those books, check out my video, Dude's Comics of the Week, and you'll see those get reviewed. So without further ado, let's get into the rest of this week's reviews. First up today we have Constantine issue number 12, and this book was a big disappointment for me. I said it was going to be the last issue of Constantine I read because it's the last one that crosses over with the Forever Evil Blight story. And you know, I was hoping this was going to be so outstanding that it was going to kind of tempt me, but it didn't. It just made me glad I'm not going to have to pick this title again. This issue, basically, it's just Constantine and Nick Necro fighting. And it feels like we've seen this before, you know, even in this story. We've seen this before and we've not moved any further forwards. It isn't like Constantine's got free and he's freeing everybody else and the things have really turned. No, we feel no further forward. We just seem to be stuck in the same position, not moving forwards or backwards, just stuck. And it was just really, for me, I found it really hard to get through because it felt like we've seen this before. The art wasn't the greatest. I liked some of the layouts of the art and some of the choices there. But the artist, I just didn't like how they drew human faces. When they drew Swamp Thing, they did a fantastic job. But when they had to do human faces, especially noses, I didn't like that. And all the characters looked really different in this book. To keep it positive, try and keep it a bit positive, Nick Necro's got his coat back, which I thought was cool. But other than that, yeah, this was a real skippable moment in the Blight storyline. And it's a shame that as we get near the end where things should be really heating up now, that we get such a dud of an issue where everything just seems to be stood still. And you got to kind of sympathise a little bit with the writer, as if he hasn't got nothing that he can kind of forward the story with. It's going to be difficult to kind of really make something that's really going to grip you. But yeah, very disappointed with this book. So glad I don't have to get it again. But for Constantine number 12, I give 2 stars. So next up we have Star Wars issue number 15. This is the issue where we get back into our main story after a two-month side story with Darth Vader. Princess Leia has decided she's going to marry this prince in order that the rebels can live on this planet. Because since the Battle of Yavin, they've got no home kind of base, so they're looking for somewhere to go and they think this is the answer. I really found interesting Leia's kind of story as she feels she's doing her part, and I thought that was a part of the book I was really interested in. We get a brief little bit of Han Solo. I would have liked to have seen a lot more of Han. He speaks about in this issue that he's decided to stay with the Alliance for a bit, so I would have really liked to have seen a bit more of Han and how he came to that decision. Luke is really annoying this issue. He's kind of heartbroken because Leia's getting married. Like he doesn't know yet that she's his sister. So he's all got this crush on Leia and he's heartbroken she's going to marry this prince. And he's kind of acting a bit like a teenager, all sulky and like, ooh, I hate this sort of business. And maybe I'm just becoming a grumpy old man, but I just could really have given that kid a slap. I really found him annoying in this book, and it didn't add to the story for me, and I really found it difficult to get through, especially the bits with him in. This planet where they're going to live though, I think there is going to be some twist to the tale. I think they'll end up betraying him, but for the time being it looks good. But yeah, apart from the Luke stuff, I didn't feel the issue was too bad, though it is kind of just a lot of it was setting up the story. Didn't really like the art this issue. We got a different artist. I didn't feel the characters look so different from how they usually look that it was real difficult at times to tell who was who. But yeah, there were some good ideas in here, and it's taking the story in an interesting direction, and I give Star Wars issue number 15 3 stars. So next up we have The Star Wars issue number 6, which is based off the original rough draft by George Lucas of the Star Wars story. This issue was a bit of a crazy one. It's really interesting seeing the change, how he cut a lot out of that original Star Wars, as you have elements here that we see later in both Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. We get characters, names that we recognise. So that's all, so that's all really interesting. But to see as well how much he had going on in this one story and how much they travel around the galaxy in this one story, I think he really did a good job cutting a lot of this out, because the pace is so frenetic, because you don't get time to settle on anything because you're moving on to the next bit. So I think he did a real good job to slow things down, and the changes he made, I think he definitely made it better. But it's still really fascinating to see how things could have been. And you see characters pop up you want to see a bit more of, but because so much is going on, you don't. The art in the book by Mike Mayhew is still gorgeous. It is, for me, it's the top selling point of this book. Well, second top selling point. First is to see how Star Wars might have been, and the second one is the art, because this book is absolutely gorgeous. I'm really enjoying this story, just to see the differences. It's been real eye-opener. And I think so far, like I've said, I think I would back all the changes he made. I think it definitely made it work better. But for the Star Wars issue number 6, I'd give it 4 stars out of 5. So next we have Green Lantern Corps issue number 29 from DC Comics. And this book, I think, I've said this before, but it's a really nice companion piece if you read in the main Lantern book, as it fleshes out that story even bigger. And you see more. I really like how you see things developing and how more worlds are kind of joining this anti-Green Lantern coalition. I think that's really interesting, and I think things are looking pretty bleak for the Lanterns in this one. As both sides, they want to get this one Lantern who's also a Durlan, and they want to get him. Both the villains are Durlans, they want to get him, and the Lanterns want to get him on their side. So everybody's chasing him and fighting, trying to get him. There's some nice twists and turns in the tale, which I enjoyed. We get other stories as well as we follow other characters, and I think the book does a really good job of juggling all of these stories and never leaving you shortchanged. You feel you get enough of each story, and I really like that. And it's a very multi-character book that I'm really enjoying. But you do get the overall picture of things are looking pretty bleak for the Lanterns. The art I enjoyed in this, I thought was good. The colouring, the colourist on this is the same colourist as Green Arrow, and they try and do that thing where some of the panels are black and white with a red background, and where the way Sorrentino lays his book out, it works for those panels. But in this one it doesn't, and some of the pages that the colourist does it in, it doesn't really work, and it actually lowers the book. But there are a couple of pages where it does click this issue, and that does work. I'd rather the colorist left that for Green Arrow, but the panels that it worked on were okay. But that's the only real gripe I've got at the issue, because I'm really enjoying it. And like I say, I think the Lantern books at the moment are all on a good roll, and with Green Lantern Corps issue number 29, 5 stars out of 5. So in my penultimate review today, we have Hawkeye issue number 17, and this was a bit of a strange one. I came into the issue thinking we were going to get the continuation of Hawkeye and the Clown and all how that was going down, but what we get is this totally bizarre tale as we go back, way back to issue 6, when Hawkeye looked after the kids, babysat the kids, and they watched cartoons. And we have Hawkeye here falling asleep and having this bizarre dream about these superhero dogs, which is utterly bizarre. It's a lovely story. It's funny in parts, which you'd expect from Matt Fraction, but it's got a kind of a sappy ending, which is really nice as well. But it just was totally bizarre. When you go in and expecting something else and you get this, it just felt really strange. Like, what's this about? And I don't know if it's playing into the whole kind of thing of, well, Hawkeye thinks he needs to do everything alone, but he doesn't. I don't know if it's playing into that, but while the story was fun, it just was bizarre, the way it was put in here. So yeah, but I enjoyed it, but it was bizarre, and I'd give Hawkeye issue number 17 a bizarre 4 stars out of 5. Final review today is Manifest Destiny issue number 5. Really enjoying this book, so pleased I jumped on it. It has been a really great book. This issue, the pace is a bit slower because we haven't got the immediate threat of them being chased, but it's still a fun read and still sets up the story really well of what to come next. We've got a quick couple of twists and turns through the story, which I really enjoyed. The ending, the cliffhanger at the end, this book does really well, and that's fantastic. The art is just gorgeous all throughout. I really like how they do the plant zombies. They're really great. And I'm just really enjoying the heck out of this book. It feels totally different to anything else that I'm reading right now. But it is so much fun. Really enjoying it. And I give issue number 5 of Manifest Destiny 5 stars out of 5. So that's my reviews done for another week, as we've come to the end of the video. The plan at the moment, I should be back on Tuesday. I've currently got 4 Marvel Ultimate graphic novels read and ready to review. I'm hoping over the weekend to get the next 2 done, the next 2 read, so that will be 6 in total. So I'm hoping Tuesday I'll be able to review 2 of those in my next Marvel Ultimate graphic novel review video. That's Tuesday. Wednesday I will be back with Dude's Comic Haul, which seems to be my most popular video at the moment, sharing you the new books I pick up next week. At the moment it's looking like it'll be 10 books, but things always change. You know what it's like. You go in the comic shop saying I'm going to spend this much money, and you always end up spending more. But yeah, the target this week, at least what I've looked at and think I'm getting, is going to be 10. Then I will be back on Friday with Dude's Comic of the Week, and then next weekend at some point we'll have Dude's Comic Book uploaded as well. Thank you to everybody who has been subscribing to my channel, leaving comments on my videos and watching my videos. Please, if you like the video, give it the thumbs up, so I know you like what I'm doing. Thank you again very much for watching. I've been Jason. This has been Dude's Comic Book Roundup. Bye for now.